Welcome back, my students, to a brand new episode of Comet Class. And in today's lesson, guys, we're going to be looking at the King in Black story arc slash event from Marvel Comics. And yeah, I was waiting for this entire comic event to finish off. It is 5 issues long, just counting the main story. And yeah, that's what we're going to be covering today on the channel. So without further ado, let's jump right into today's story. Let's go. So this story starts off with Eddie Brock of Venom basically sending a message to all the Avengers, letting them know that Null, the god of the symbiotes, has arrived on Earth, or he's on his way. And Tony and the Avengers utilize some type of defense system above the Earth to try to stop Null's symbiote dragons to basically, come on Earth. And they were only able to destroy a little bit of them. So while that's going on, Eddie wakes up his son from his sleep, Dylan Brock, and takes him to a safe spot, like a safe haven, a type of a shelter that we actually got to see in one of the Spider-Man runs, where Ezekiel had created a spider shelter for Spider-Man to hide away from Morlun. So it's really cool to see them using something from 15 plus years ago in a modern Marvel story, especially regarding Spider-Man's characters like Eddie and Dylan Brock. But yeah, so that's cool, and Eddie goes off to try to, help the superheroes of Earth. So Eddie tries to, get on some type of symbiote seat and try to control the hive that Null has sent to Earth, but it's not working. And it turns out that Null has utilized the symbiote abilities to, take control of some Celestials, so they arrive on Earth. And it looks like, the heroes of Earth are doomed at this point. Null comes out of one of the Celestials' bodies and arrives and tells them that this is the end of their world and that he's going to try to make this swift and painless or something like that. And Captain America gets a little cocky, knowing that the Sentry is arriving on Earth and here to take on Null. But when the Sentry arrives, taking out one of the Celestials, which was a massive feat to be able to do, Null basically grabs him and rips the Sentry in half, basically telling him that he isn't scared of the Void, that his darkness itself is the Void, and just shows how awesome Null is, and sets the danger level really up high because, Sentry is so overpowered. To easily get ripped in half by Null just shows the power level of this villain. And Null utilizes his ability of the symbiote to basically wrap the planet in symbiote, basically kind of like shining out the light, or blocking out the light. And yeah, it's just an entire world of black. Now Storm, having the ability of electricity and the ability to control, storms, is doing really well against the symbiote dragons. And eventually Eddie realizes that the heroes of Earth are kind of falling one by one, so he tries to contact Null and the symbiote hive. And Null arrives and grabs Eddie Brock and kind of rips the symbiote off of him while he's holding him over a ledge. And he reveals to Eddie that the symbiote that he was looking for wasn't Eddie Brock, but in fact his son Dylan Brock, and that he wants his ability to control, the hive or something like that. So he lets Eddie fall to his death, and yeah, Eddie falls and crashes into some type of vehicle down below and is almost dead. He almost got killed off like that. And Spider-Man arrives and calls out for help, and he basically Eddie tells Spider-Man that he wants him to protect Dylan because he knows that Null is going after him. So the Human Torch arrives and takes out one of the symbiote dragons, and Spider-Man tells the Human Torch, while he's trying to get Spider-Man to take Eddie to be somewhere safe, that the fire itself isn't going to be enough to take out these symbiotes, that apparently they're not as resistant to fire. They're more resistant to fire now than they were in the past. But Peter, takes Eddie and leaves the Human Torch to kind of sacrifice himself. So I don't think it's ever shown if he survived or not, but yeah. So he kind of goes in to sacrifice himself. Now Peter takes Eddie to a type of, it's not a hospital, but a place where he can get help for other superheroes. and he goes to find Dylan Brock in that safe haven that Ezekiel had made for him, and basically tells him that he needs to come with him, that his father is not looking too good, he's getting help right now, and is into some type of hospital type thing. Now, Iron Man realizes how bad the situation is, so he tries to utilize his technology to take control of one of the symbiote dragons, and it seems like it's gonna work. And while Eddie is, hanging on to life, and Reed Richards, Sue Storm, Spider-Man, and Iron Man arrives, putting on the symbiote that he had grabbed, from the symbiote dragon onto Eddie Brock, Dylan basically blasts off him when he sees that his dad is almost dying from this, and it seems like Eddie actually dies after Sue tells Reed Richards that he needs to cool down about being happy about Dylan's power because his father just died right in front of him. And yeah, it's a pretty sad note in this part of the story. Now, Dylan wants revenge for what Noel has done for his father, so he agrees to help the superheroes go fight on the battlefield. And while he's on the battlefield, he basically is able to kind of like take the symbiote off of Captain America, bringing him back to the good side. And Noel sees what's exactly happening. He just sees him pain every time Dylan is destroying these symbiotes, or at least like blasting him off of these people. And eventually Dylan is saved by Thor. Thor arrives and tells Dylan that he's going to help him fight off these symbiotes, and they do a really good job until eventually Noel arrives on the ground, on the battlefield, and he tells Thor that he's going to take him on, and they get into a fight, and the fight is really awesome. It's not a very drawn out fight, but what we do get is just amazing. Eventually Thor gets so mad that he actually hits Noel's jaw with Mjolnir and takes his jaw off, the bottom half of his jaw off. And Noel basically says that, the world is gonna burn for what, Thor has done to him. And yeah, the Celestials are basically gonna try doing some attacks. And while Noel actually uses this opportunity with Thor being distracted to stab through him with his, I guess, symbiote sword or something. I forget what it's called. I think it's called the All Black or something. Yeah, I think it's called the All Black. And he stabs Thor. And of course, I'm pretty sure this isn't going to kill Thor, but it's looking really bad for the superheroes whenever it's revealed that Tony was able to use the symbiote dragon to take control of one of the celestial symbiote type, creatures, and he wages war against the other ones, making it more of an even battlefield against celestial. So that's really cool. So while that's going on, we get to see that Silver Surfer is on the way in his black outfit, or I think it's a different version of Silver Surfer when he's more powerful. And yeah, Dylan is in some type of dreamscape when he's confronted by Noel, and he uses his ability to try to take control of the symbiote hive from Noel. It's a really cool scene, seeing all these superheroes telling him that he needs to keep pushing through it, even though he's in a lot of pain, Dylan, from doing this. So he's fighting against the god of the symbiotes, but this is allowing a lot of the heroes to come back to the good side for the symbiotes to leave their bodies, because I guess apparently Dylan's kind of siphoning his will of symbiotes leaving these superheroes alone through Noel into the hive. I'm guessing that's what's happening. And all these superheroes like Sue Storm, Cyclops, and I think it's Doctor Strange utilize their abilities to take out tons of the symbiote monsters. So yeah, so while that's going on, Spider-Man's trying to survive this oncoming attacks that he's seen from all these superheroes. You get to see Iron Man with the celestial body that he's controlling, fighting against another celestial in the background. It's just crazy. Now, Noel is about to kill Eddie Brock, basically, whenever Jean Grey shows up and tries to manipulate and get into Noel's mind. But what happens is she gets overpowered, and she starts seeing that there's someone trying to get past Noel's symbiote planet type of veil that he has over the entire planet. And it's some type of energy that's trying to choose a hero, a type of champion. And the Silver Surfer arrives and makes a hole inside of Noel's symbiote planet, trying to keep out this energy, this champion of light. And the Silver Surfer basically allows this light to go find its host, and no one knows exactly what's about to happen, and it's revealed that Eddie Brock, or Edward Brock, is the person that the light has chosen. It says, "You have been chosen." And yeah, so he's the champion of light. which is the exact opposite of the darkness that Null represents. So Null is about to fight against the Silver Surfer, who is, I guess, went back to his Silver Surfer look. When he's about to get teamed up, with all the Avengers, X-Men, everyone in the Marvel Universe basically trying to go up against Null. But Eddie shows up and tells him to stand back, that this is his fight. And he arrives in this type of cosmic looking Venom type look. And he actually summons Mjolnir and the sword that Silver Surfer was using and taking it away from them to form a new attack axe. I guess that's what it looks like. It's like some type of an attack axe, and yeah, it's made out of gold. It shines bright, and it kind of contrasts Eddie's new outfit with the type of gold and black. And yeah, he takes on Null, and eventually Null tries to use the symbiote dragons, and also I think the Celestials try to take on Venom's new ability, Eddie's new ability, and he's just defeating all of Null's forces one by one that he has coming up to him. Null even gets, attacked by Eddie himself, with the axe, and he's just getting completely overpowered. And just seeing, like I said, Eddie basically taking out a Celestial with one hit shows how powerful this all-light type force that went into Eddie is. It's granting him abilities on the part of Null, it seems, or maybe even stronger. And yeah, eventually he takes Null to a type of ledge, just like he did to him in the beginning of the event, and basically attacks Null with his axe and rips off the symbiote from Null. It seems, like the main symbiote that I guess was on Null, which surprisingly is I thought Null was a symbiote completely. I've never read the original Venom run that this is part of. I'm definitely going to be checking it out soon. So yeah, because I definitely want to see more of Null. But yeah, so Null gets dropped by Eddie down to his doom, but this doesn't kill Null, and Venom basically goes down and says that we aren't done. And Null basically tells him that no matter what he does, that a part of him will still live inside of Eddie's son Dylan. So Venom grabs Null and zooms up, because now he has the ability to fly, I guess. He zooms out of the planet, he bursts through the symbiote veil that he had over Earth, and heads towards the sun, where he kind of pushes Null into, and just, completely evaporates him. He's no more, it seems, and that's the end of Null, it seems, the god of the symbiotes. So Venom realizes that this is the end for Null, and he flies back to Earth in a type of Superman pose, which is something I never thought I would say regarding Venom's character. But yeah, eventually Blade was fighting against a lot of these Venom symbiotes slash vampires, I guess, that were controlled by the symbiotes, and they get turned to absolute ash, which shows that the world itself is being rid of that symbiote veil that was put on it, and the sun is shining on the Earth once again. So the axe lands on the ground, that type of battle axe that Venom had, and it's split back into Mjolnir and that sword, or I guess it was the Silver Surfer's board, and it goes back to the respective owners after Thor calls it, and as well as Silver Surfer calling the board to him as well. And Eddie arrives back on Earth, seems kind of drained a little bit, and Spider-Man and him are actually talking to each other, and it's really funny to see Spider-Man so happy for Eddie to do this, because Eddie used to be one of his greatest villains. So it really shows the development this character's had over the years, especially in Donny Cates' Venom run, I guess. And Eddie doesn't feel like this is completely over when he sees that his son is crying, and his son basically tells him that he can feel Null inside of him. I guess whenever they had their little exchange where Dylan was trying to siphon his will inside of Null and to his hive, basically trying to get to the hive's mind. I guess that's when Noah put some of his energy, or himself, his essence, into Dylan. But Eddie uses his newfound powers to basically grab inside of Dylan, saying this is going to hurt. And he grabs the part of Null that Noah put inside of Dylan, and he destroys it once and for all, saying, "You will not inherit this darkness. But I made you a promise. You will not inherit this darkness." Like he said earlier in the event, saying that he hated that Dylan was having to deal with the sins of his father, basically being dragged into this because of his dad being, with the Venom symbiote, and he basically destroys the last piece of Null, it seems. So I wonder if we'll ever see Null in the future, or maybe this was truly Null's end. Only time will tell with that. So basically, this all light power tells Eddie that everything's been accomplished, that there's no need for him to have this power anymore. So it basically leaves him and goes off, I guess, back into space. That's wherever it came from. It's revealed to us by Spider-Man and Dylan that something has happened to Eddie, that's clear that something's different about him, and it's revealed, and the story ends with Eddie being referred to as "You are the King in Black," basically becoming the new god of the symbiotes. I guess his Venom now has wings, just like Null did. Yes, it's a thing that you get when you become the god of symbiotes. I have no idea, just the symbiote dragons have it as well. But I guess you can have the same things on different characters. And maybe it's just how the new design's supposed to look, to make it look a little more different, because, you know, Venom being just how he is, I guess wouldn't be too much of a change. So, it's okay. But that was the King in Black story art slash event. I really enjoyed this. I thought there would have been a lot more action with Null fighting each member of the Marvel Universe, kind of similar to what we saw in the Infinity Gauntlet story arc in the 90s with Thanos, or Thanos, however you say it. But that wasn't how it was done in here. But what we did get was actually really good, and I did enjoy the fight between Venom and Null, as well as Thor and Null, and I guess it made a lot more sense that only the giant powerhouses would fight against, you know, Null. Now, I'm not a person that reads every Marvel comic that's going on right now, so I'm guessing there is a reason why the Hulk wasn't in this story arc slash event, even though he's on the cover of issue 1. So if any of y'all read the Incredible Hulk run that's happening right now, I think it's called the Immortal Hulk or something, let me know why the reason, you know, what is the reason why Hulk was not in this event. I don't really care about spoilers too much, so be sure to just let me know if you're watching this and you read that run, why wasn't Hulk in this event? I would love to know. But that's gonna be all, guys. Until next video, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys subscribe for more comic content. I cover DC, Marvel, Image, and other comics as well, so be sure to subscribe if you're into any of that. But until next time, guys, God bless you. Until the next lesson, keep on reading those comics.